Hey everyone, I was reading through the Sermon on the Mount today. In fact, my discipleship group is walking through the book of Matthew right now. And in chapter 6, Jesus is giving this sermon, and 3 different times he talks about hypocrites. And he specifically talks about hypocrites who are doing righteous things, but they're doing it for the purpose of their own glory. And in chapter 6, at the beginning of chapter 6, Jesus is talking about people who give to the needy. And he tells the people in this sermon, don't give for the purpose of yourself being glorified. And he points out here in verse 2, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. So Jesus is saying that there's these hypocrites who go out into the synagogues and they give to the poor, but they do it so that everyone can see what they're doing. Their whole purpose is to glorify themselves. Then Jesus talks next about praying. And he highlights that there's hypocrites who, when they pray, they want to stand up in front of everybody on the corners of the street and pray out loud because they want everyone to look at them. In fact, in verse 5, he says, "For they love to stand and to pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others." And then Jesus talks about fasting. A couple verses later, in verse 16, he says, "And when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others." You know, I've fasted or attempted to fast multiple times, and I've been successful sometimes and then other times not successful. But sometimes when you fast and when you fast food, it's not fun. But I love how Jesus says here in this passage, he says that there's hypocrites who, when they're fasting, they deliberately try to make themselves look like they're struggling, look like they're gloomy. And the reason why they do it is because they want everyone else to see that they're fasting. And these 3 examples, in giving, in praying, and in fasting, Jesus points out that hypocrites want to be seen by others. And that phrase, being seen by others, is a prideful thing. And when I read this, it made me think, where in my life am I looking to be praised by other people? Because if I'm seeking after the attention and praise of people, then I may have pride in my life. Because what I really may be seeking after is just recognition from others. And in these passages, Jesus is reminding us, no, when you give, don't give to be seen by others. In fact, when you give in secret. And then he's talking about praying. When you pray, don't pray so that people look at you, but when you pray, go to your secret place and pray to God. And then when you fast, wash your face so that people, they won't notice that you're fasting. No, you're fasting in secret because you want to glorify God. It's not about yourself. So, can I encourage you today to examine your life, and is there somewhere in your life that you are seeking attention from others? And if so, that may be an area that you have pride in your life. And if that's the case, I ask that you would submit that, as I am doing, submit that to God and say, Lord, I want to do what you want me to do, not for my glory, but for your glory.